All right, welcome to another Foil Drive podcast. I'm so glad that I've got the winner of the first Foil Drive surf comp here with me today, Paul Cooper. Welcome.
What's up? What's up, everybody?
We're here to talk about the Foilers of Aloha comp that was just in Kauai. From an outsider that didn't go, it looked like it was a super successful comp. And Jason from Foil Fever, the one that ran it, he was kind enough to make it an inclusive comp where he had a foil drive division, a foil drive surf division, and this was the first foil drive, surf comp that's ever been had. And our boy Paul Cooper took it out. So let's get like a little bit of a recap. Tell us about. I think this comp's been running the last 3 years. Has it?
Yeah.
Or-
No, I think they've ran it 4 times in the last 7 years. I mean, COVID obviously, halted a few years and stuff like that. So, they've done it the past 3 years in a row and then had a break between then. But yeah, it was a killer. It's always been kind of the sort of staple because it was sort of the first foil event that I, was sort of aware of when he did it, I guess 7 years ago or so. And then for him to include, foil assist, he was calling because had other brands there too. So he wanted to, make it not just a foil drive, but and it was sick. I'm really stoked because, like for me to do my thing in a competitive setting is, everything. Like I'm just stoked to kind of do it. So yeah, I'm glad that it was put on and I'm glad I took the win. There's a
So
lot of pressure. Like, to be
yeah,
honest, I went into it like really, really nervous. Cause I just felt, a lot of pressure. So yeah, I was definitely, feeling it going into it.
I know you were taking it serious because I was with you 2 weeks before the competition and, you were training, you were, on a special new diet and like, he wasn't mucking around. And like, for people that don't know Paul Cooper, which I think probably, is no one would not know who you are, but like, he is our number one team rider here at Floor Drive. And, he's known for his crazy antics in the air. And I think, you held a lot of that pressure on yourself. Like you come from a competitive background of bodyboarding. So you do have that competitive edge. Not that I've really ever seen it, but like I know it's there. But like to see it come out in the first foil assist comp, it was cool to see because I think it's super rewarding. I know for myself when I've got a race or something ahead of me, it really gives me something to drive towards. And I think that's where you get progression because you really want to dial in your gear. You really want to be on your A game because it means a lot to you. So tell
Yeah.
us like what you were doing in preparation to this, or were you just foiling heaps, or did you kind of have like a game plan? Or
Yeah. I mean, I had somewhat of a game plan and actually I kind of abandoned the game plan that I went into it because it didn't work out in the way that I thought it was going to work out. But yeah, I was definitely foiling a lot, but more in a sense. And like you said, I've got a competitive background from boogie boarding and stuff like that, so I know how to do heats and there's definitely a different sense of urgency when you're surfing for 20 minutes rather than just being out there and free surfing. So you definitely want to have like a rhythm in the heat and you don't want to kind of overdo it and then not have enough gas. So yeah, so I definitely prepared myself for those 20 minutes. I went into it and I wanted to use a slim because it was definitely the most high performing kit. If you're going to compare a slim to a max, like it just feels like nothing's there as far as like, having the foil drive there. So, but when I did my first heat, um, I found myself not being able to search and wait for the waves that I wanted to because I I can last about 14 minutes straight with the slim performance. And the heat's 20 minutes. So I had to kind of pick and choose like, okay, so I would motor out and then there wouldn't be a set. And my heats were pretty dismal as far as waves were concerned. We didn't get a lot of sets in them. So I didn't have the luxury of just being able to do circles out there. I had to go out and immediately turn around, come in. And if the wave was there, it was there. If it wasn't, it wasn't. So I abandoned that. I switched to a max with a sport battery for my second heat. And I just felt way more comfortable, and the performance was there as well.
You hate the sport. That's like rule number one. Don't ride something that you're not used to.
I know. No, but I've been using the slim. Like I took.
No, but I mean the sport when you abandoned that.
Oh, yeah.
Because you hate the sport.
Yeah. No, I don't care for the sport. But that's all I had. So that's what I used. So, but it worked out. Like it was, it was fine. So, yeah.
Let's take a few steps back. So tell us,
Sure.
what's the attendance of this competition? And, how does it run? I know that they have, a really cool community beach cleanup the day before, and then they have the surf comp on the Saturday, and then is there a downwind on the Sunday?
Yeah, so it's a full weekend thing. So Jason does the beach cleanup Friday afternoon. That's kind of when the people not from Kauai usually fly in and things like that. So he's all about community and everything. So they did the beach cleanup on Friday, then the surf contest is on Saturday, and then he always schedules a race for Sunday. But every time he's scheduled a race, there's been absolutely no wind, and this year was no different. So the race got canceled. There was no wind. It was crazy, but it was sick. We had me and Len Pang. He flew over with me and was my support over there, and it was cool having him there. But we had a unreal session, free surf session with Robbie and a couple other people that morning. So even though we didn't have the race, we still got to get out there and get some fun.
The waves looked really fun from what I've seen. It looked like perfect foil waves. Maybe a touch too small, or was it kind of perfect? Yeah.
Well, if you would have seen what it looked like all the days leading up that whole week, it was flat. I was checking it every day. It was so flat. And then I guess the day before Friday, because we showed up in the evening and jumped in for a session, and it was pretty small, but they said throughout the day had a little bit of waves. But the day of the contest was hands down the best day from that whole week. So we just had a new swell that came in, and it was perfect. And over there is usually pretty windy and choppy, but it was clean, glassy kind of all day. So it was epic day for sure.
Sick. So how many people were in the foil drive division?
So there is 3 heats.
Sorry, foil assist. I want to be
So
don't want to say the wrong thing.
So in the foil assist, there's 3 heats, which is pretty crazy because I think a couple of the other, even some of the men's, I think the men's only had 2 heats. So it's it was one of the bigger divisions for sure. It had I want to say maybe the most guys or equal to what the other ones that were full had. So there's 3 full heats, and I think my heat had 5 guys. Some of them had 6. So there's quite a few guys. It was definitely pretty insane turnout for the first ever, foil assist contest. So everybody was stoked.
Yeah, it's really cool to see because I feel like with competitions and races, sometimes the foil community don't want to get involved because they get a little bit intimidated by all these hot shots, and they don't want to look, subpar compared to them. But I think this foil assist division is super inclusive. You don't have to be the Cane de Wild out there. You can just rip on your foil drive, and you're not going to be paddling out in a heat and not catch one wave, because you're definitely going to be on foil. And that's kind of leads to my next question. How did they run a foil assist competition?
Yeah, so they had a buoy set up outside, and coming into it, I was thinking how is this going to go? How are you going to keep track and all of this? Because you've got everybody's up and everything. But you know what? It was so insanely put together, and the way the heats kind of turn out and how everybody kind of goes, it just really flowed. Like when you were watching the prone heats, so like a set would come in and like 4 or 5 guys were all paddling and standing up on the same wave, and it was like madness.
Now, was
For
that
the
cool?
foils, it's
As
yeah,
in,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that, like it wasn't dropping in, like it was like people
No,
could all get up.
because those are kind of like considered chip in, so it's
Mm.
like it's acceptable because most guys are kicking out. I think whoever is the deepest maybe has the right of way, and you let them surf it, but that doesn't mean you can't still get up and kick out and pump out
Okay.
to a wave behind it. So, but yeah, it was kind of like madness as far as like regular proning, but as far as like the foil drive or foil assist, like we're all just taking turns, and it's like we had to lap a buoy that was kind of far out before you come back in for a wave. So it's like you kind of knew whose turn it was, and it's not like if you drop in on somebody, you're pretty blatantly dropping in, because they're coming from so far out, anyways. And it really like spread out the crowd for the judges too, because it was like, okay, here's a wave, there's a guy going, and then once that wave is over, the wave behind their other person is on that. It was just kind of a constant flow, and it just sort of worked really well. Like when I was envisioning a contest for foilists, I'm like, oh, there's no way you can keep track. Should do like jam sessions, and somebody just has. But to me, it worked out like really well. Like I was really surprised how it flowed, as far as yeah, flowed way better than how the prone is like. You'd see like 5, 6 guys or girls like up at the same time. We're like, holy crap, it's crazy.
Yeah, that sounds super clever. Who was on the back end of that? Like, who was doing that kind of organization of like how it was going to run? Was it Jason and Pono
Yeah,
or
Jason and Pono. I mean, they're
super
the two
super
heads of
clever?
it.
I like it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it
It
was just
definitely worked out.
and it was probably. Would you say it was more probably visually interesting to watch as a spectator because there was always someone doing something versus like
Totally.
yeah, that's what like when we did our Foil Fest comp in Australia, we had like everyone was proning, and because like no one was getting waves because it was kind of tricky, and then we had like 4 jet skis out the back running safety, and we're like, let's just start whipping everyone in, and then we started whipping
Oh
everyone
yeah.
in, and everyone on the beach was like, "Whoa, this is so fun! Like this is sick!" And everyone was going
Yeah.
so hard. And like, I feel like that kind of translates to the foil assist division because you kind of what you're running out to that buoy, and then like if you time it, could you just like go out to that buoy and just sit and wait, and then see if there's a set coming and then go, or do you have
Yeah.
to go around it and keep coming in, and whatever wave
No,
comes, you have to
you
go?
could circle out there. So like, yeah, a few times I would kind of like when I used the max and I had more runtime, I went and I was sort of like circling and stuff. And I think Jason after said, he's like, because I was like, oh yeah, I was telling him how I thought it ran so good. He said, yeah, yeah, until you went like, because I almost went to like, like, like the buoy that's like not part of it. It's like the actual like harbor buoy. And it's like 3, 4 times as far. I wanted to circle it, but like a wave came before. But he's like, yeah, because you just go from way out there, then we have to watch you on your wave because you start surfing it from way out there too. So yeah, it was sick. Like I feel like it's yeah, because you don't even need like full blown sets, to surf at a high level with foil assist because as long as there's like some sort of platform or some sort of swell, you can do the hardest turn that you want to do. You can do everything that you need to, and it's not even in the spot where the wave's breaking. So I think this is the beginning of what should be like a super exciting format and something that we should try and get going for sure.
Do you think that that is the format, the buoy, to go around, or do you reckon it could be modified to as something else? Or
I mean, I say like it could be modified to something else too, but to me it really worked. Like I felt like because well, and it depends on the judging too, and I felt like the judging was fair because they didn't put so much emphasis on like how surfing is, where it's like if you're not catching the set, you're not getting the score. You know what I mean? And I feel like with foiling, you don't have to catch a set to kind of rip the wave. So, it translated to that, because I was a little nervous after my first heat because I didn't really catch sets because I just couldn't. And there wasn't much sets in our heat anyways. And the few that came in, I wasn't on. But, the waves that I did get, I tried to, surf as hard as I could. So, yeah.
So what were you riding?
I was riding the new Evolution, the 135, and that was kind of a gamble too, because I only got it maybe 2 days before. I rode a prototype like maybe a month before, and so I didn't have a lot of time on it, but I just sort of made a last minute decision because it just felt really good. So yeah, I used that 135 Evolution, and what was I on? My normal progression mask and stuff. So
And
yeah,
I think
I
you
was
had
really stoked.
I think you had one of those fancy new trench boards at Glen made.
Yeah, yeah. So
Tell
I
me
had the
about that.
fancy. Yeah, so that was another thing that was super sick, that I've been riding, and yeah, that definitely helps with drag, all of that. Just like such high performance for it. So
Because you were
yeah,
pretty excited when you had that first ride on it. Because I remember you texted me and you're like, "Whoa, this thing is next level."
Have you got yours yet to
I haven't got
try?
mine yet, but like
Oh,
can't wait. Like I fly down to Four Drive tomorrow when we're filming down there, so it's getting
sick.
sent straight to there. So I'm hoping it's there when I
So
get
good.
there. But no, tell
Nice.
me more, because like it's a pretty popular topic at the moment where everyone's like wanting that next few kind of like a bit more percent to make their ride better. So why is
Yeah.
it better? Why is it better?
Um, the obvious things are, a reduction of drag, so it's like the box, which doesn't have a lot of drag, but it does have some. So just to take away that drag, is one of the more obvious reasons of why it's so good.
The
I think
drag
a
from the
less
unit, like the
the
actual four
drag from
drive
the
unit.
unit.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Yeah. The drag from the unit, which isn't like it's not crazy amount of drag, but it definitely has some drag when it's not in a trough like that. The other thing that wouldn't be as obvious is that now it's a lot thinner between your foot and the kit and your mass and everything, which makes it, because I've always ridden thin boards anyways, just because I love how responsive they are. So this is like next level thin. So it's like so responsive. It's an insane amount of responsiveness because it's just like almost a direct connection between your foot and your mass. So like when I first got on, I was like, oh, like this is too responsive. Like I gotta adjust, So it took me a little bit to be like, okay, I gotta back off a little bit on my turns and things like that. So
Wow, that's super interesting. And are you riding the same dimensions as what you would normally ride, but with this trench, or have you changed a few things?
so the first one, the one that I was riding is a little thicker than what I normally ride, in order to kind of create the trench so that the max would fit perfectly in it. Which was a little bit of a hindrance for me because I'm so used to riding thin boards. As far as the performance, like it was insanely responsive and all of that, but it just felt a little kind of beefy for me just because I'm so used to riding thin boards, especially with the rails and stuff. So he already cut another one that's going to be like basically the exact board that I'm riding prior to this trench board, like same thickness. So the trench isn't going to cover like a full max. It'll definitely cover a slim, but it'll cover like most of the max, and the board will be the same thickness of what I normally ride, which I'm really looking forward to doing,
Well, so,
trying. Yeah.
and I like, the number one question that I've been getting with our trench board with Amos is this battery swap situation. What have you guys got going on in the Magic boards?
Yeah, so the first one that he made for me, we ran the tracks all the way back. So he had to do some stuff and it kind of added a lot of weight. And then what we found is it's not the easiest thing to drag the T-nuts in and out of it. So what ended up happening is I was just using like the set T-nuts that come with everybody's foil drive kit, placing them where they need to go, and I would just drop it in. So I would completely undo all the screws, pull it out, straight out, pop the battery. And I timed it. It took me 4 minutes to do a battery swap,
Yeah.
and it would take me, and that's all the steps in there, So it probably takes me maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes to do a battery swap on a normal board. So,
Mm-hmm.
like a 4 minute battery swap wasn't too bad. And I was running because we did this session the next day, I had to burn all my batteries before I had them freighted back to Oahu. So I was doing slim performance. I had 5 slim performance batteries that next morning. So I was just going back to back. And I was just like freaking pit crew, like zip, zip, zip. I had a drill. So it was just like
Yeah.
over. Yeah. It was like so fast. So yeah, once you do it a few times, it's like not a big deal. Yeah, because I've seen a few trenches that are like a little bit bigger, so you can,
Get
leave
your
it in
hands
and
around it.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't had any experience with that. I don't know if there's, if you kind of lose efficiency with that or not. I'm not sure. So yeah,
Yeah.
but
Well,
it's cool. It's a great time. Like I'm so stoked to see so many people trying so many things, all for this, thing that we all love so much, which is, four-wheel drive. It's pretty insane that it kind of like sparks this, like thing where everybody's just like so frothed about it and so wanting that like little bit of an extra percent. And that's what I'm all about too. Like
oh,
I want
totally.
it to be the highest performing thing ever. So
Well, when you think about like not even a year ago, we were riding, your stock standard mast with a pod on it. And then now we've got all these integrated masts. And then now we've got these these foil drive specific boards with trenches in it. Like, what's next? Like, it's
yeah.
honestly that like the foil drive's going to pretty much disappear. And then we're going to still get propulsion out of somewhere, like the trailing edge of the mast or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. But,
So sick.
yeah, I know there's definitely some whispers that there's some hardware coming out from foil drive soon that's gonna make this battery swap go from 4 minutes normal to sub 2 minutes. So I
Yeah.
think people gotta just have faith that there's some technology coming soon that's gonna make it a lot easier. And that's what I'm telling my audience, because a lot of people, I can't tell them exactly what's going on, but I can tell them just have faith. There's some really cool hardware coming soon that's going to make it a lot easier.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, you've talked about your board. You just used your normal progression mast. What?
Yeah, for the contest.
Yeah. And is that the progression? That's the progression mast. Where's the pod set on that?
It's a 12.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And that's just
So
what you
it's set at
normally run, or did you change that for the competition? Or
No, that's what I normally run. Like, you too. We both like to run it as short as possible. So, yeah, the to have as much usable mast, is crucial. So to have that 12. But I will say, I just got after the contest wrapped. I was able to get the brand new unifoil aluminum integrated mast. And that's at 15, which is lower than what I've been using, but it doesn't even matter. Like, I do not know, like, when that pod enters and exits the water. It's so clean. The motoring is like insane to me, like how good it is. And yeah, the mast profile is like super fast. Like I'm tripping out how fast it is. It's faster than my progression mast. So
it's probably
I'm like,
thinner, right? It's probably a thinner thickness.
Yeah.
And
It's definitely it's a completely different foil profile for the mast compared to that. I feel like the stiffness is really good. Like it surfs really, really well. So I'm like so like blown away because the motoring, like if you talk to people who've motored like with or without an integrated mast, is like to me like so next level. It's just like I can use so much less throttle to stay on e-foil. And yeah, like this mast too, like I'm so excited. We're supposed to get some wind this week. For downwinding, it's going to be like insane because it's just so fast. And then you don't really have to worry about the pod touching as much because it just like barrels through and you don't even feel it. Like I don't even know when it touches, especially going straight. Maybe at an angle, super hard angle, I'll feel it, but going straight, I don't even know.
And you guys made it the perfect height, right? Like 80 centimeters or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. To me, that's like perfect for foil drive. So,
Totally. Yeah, that's cool. Because I hadn't ridden an aluminium mast in a long time, and when we were just in Maui the other week, I rode your prototype version, and it was sick. Like it was so sick. Like it's cool to try all these things. And I remember when I tried the No Limits, the first integrated mast with four drive. When I rode that, I was like I remember Paul Martin always telling me how much drag that cable added, but I was like, I used to never even take my mast. I was like, whatever. And then I rode that No Limits one, and I was like, I can't even feel the pod anymore. This is crazy.
yeah.
Like it's honestly crazy. So it's something definitely worth trying. I think
Yeah.
even if you can get a demo of one or something, like it's just to compare it to what you're normally used to, it's really hard to go back after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I'll be riding this for a while. So this is going to be my staple, I think, because I don't know. To me, it surfs really well, especially with the new Evolution foils. Like it surfs so good. So I'm loving it. So I'm going to be on it for a while, I think.
And in terms of your like remote settings, do you have anything special going on there, or do you just have like stock standard?
Yeah. Yeah. I just run 100%, 36% cruise. I'm always a huge advocate for cruise control for guys because it it helps me set up to get into waves and things like that. Um,
Hang on, what do you
but
mean? Explain that. You're
yeah,
using cruise
so
control to get into waves?
yeah, so what I do is like if I'm setting up rather than kind of because I write small boards, right? So you have to be mindful about connectivity. So in order to keep the board at the surface, I put it into cruise mode and then it's motoring at a slow pace. So I know the board's above and I know it's connected because if it wasn't connected, it wouldn't be in cruise mode. And then I'll use that to kind of position myself to where I'm in front of the wave. Then I'll throttle it to get into the wave and pop up, So yeah, so normal cruise mode, which is 36%. That's like the most efficient throttle percentage. And then I run 100. And then I've been that new app. I was lucky to kind of get a beta version, so I've been running it for the past maybe 3 weeks, and it's super sick to have like what's already super, you know, like powerful thing to have even more. So like I've been like surprising myself. I've been able to like with like the right sort of setup, flat water start, like my 25-liter board, with like the 135 foil, which
Oh,
is I
wow.
was never able to do that
Yeah, I was going to
before.
say,
Like
you
no
used to
way.
always struggle with the flat water stuff with the smaller
Oh
foils.
yeah.
And now that's just eradicated.
Not eradicated, like I still need a little bit, but I mean to be even able to do it like a few times, but yeah, the bumps that I need to pop up are like way smaller and it's way easier to pop
Oh,
up.
that's
Like
so cool to hear.
yeah,
So that's going to be like a game changer for kind of, the bigger guys or the guys wanting to, or the guys or girls wanting to run smaller foils, I guess.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
And I mean it's, that's what's cool about, foil drive as a brand. It's like this is like they're not even like charging guys or anything for it. It's like just a free app update and it's like, here you go. Here's more power for you.
And is
So
it
it's pretty
nearly
cool.
like, with this extra power, does it make your throttle sensitivity like out of control because it's like turbo or?
Nah, because it's just a boost. So it's only when you're full throttling it. So and you get to set the terms of it. So it's like you can set how many seconds you want the boost to last. And if you're good at throttle sensitivity, which is something that we, like I try to teach when we're doing our experiences and stuff, um, you shouldn't be going like if you're up on e-foiling and stuff, you shouldn't be going above that 95% throttle anyways. You don't need to. So it'll never be like an undaunting boost. It's the boost is for that initial pop up for like guys like me who are bigger, who ride smaller stuff. So, but yeah, it's sick.
Cool. So I think that's like your whole kit. Now run us through like who did you have in your first heat? What was like what were the scores that got you through? Was it men versus women, or did women's have their own division, or was it yeah.
It was cool. It was just like it was a foil assist. So there was like I think every heat had at least one girl in it, which was
Awesome.
cool.
So rad.
And then it wasn't even an elimination style format too. He basically had the 3 heats and everybody surfed twice, and they took your top 2 waves from each heat, and then that total score was what got you your ranking or your placing at the end of the day. So yeah, it was cool. It wasn't like, oh, you show up in the morning, you surf your first heat, you lose, and then your day is done. Like kind of everybody sort of stayed throughout the day. And because you are surfing, all day. So it was cool. Yeah, who did I had? I had Fuzzy, who was running Manta. So that was cool. And then I had Ryan Huddy, who he comes over to Oahu a bunch. I've always used to wing with him, and then now he's like full on foil drive, like loving it. So him, forget who else, had a girl and a couple other guys. But yeah, it was super mellow. Like it wasn't even like vibes or anything like that. Like everybody was super cool. So it was, yeah. And like I said, like the way that it was set up, being able to, you go out to the buoy, come in, like everybody took their turn. So it was just a really cool format, and yeah, I hope we get some more of these going. Be sick.
And was it like, did Jason and Pono have this whole bay for the comp, or was there other like public people surfing, or how does it work?
It's kind of the one spot which was sort of the only place that had waves. So I think one of the heats tourists paddled out on a soft tub, and they were like kind of yelling at him to get out of the water. But yeah, he left the light up pretty quick. But for the most part, yeah, it's not really the whole bay. It's like the one break, but no other waves are breaking that day.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, so yeah, it was beautiful. It was like the nicest day ever too. It was like so beautiful.
It looked super nice. So there's multiple waves in that bay.
Yeah. There's like a ledgy right called Ammonia's that's out there, and then there's like waves that break along the cliff. There's like kind of like a beach break over there too. So
oh wow,
yeah, there's all kinds of stuff over there.
Because I know a lot of crew like yourself traveled there, and then I also got told from Ryan Arzi that there's a hell group of locals that foil amazing. Like there's a really good Kauai crew there that rip.
Oh yeah.
So it's yeah. So what, you had people from obviously Oahu come over. I think Kane and Gabby came over from Maui. I know Kyle Knox and Roy and Karen, they came from California, and Ozzy. Yeah. That's
had a couple international guys too. I think I heard one guy from Argentina.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Because I think
awesome.
Yeah, there's a bunch of bunch of people from all over. Yeah, it was cool. So it was really, it always is like there. It's like I said, it was kind of the staple event. It was one of the first. So yeah, and this year was no different. It was definitely a lot of people from all the islands, and then international and Cali as well. So it was cool. Good to see everybody over there ripping.
And they allowed you to wear your straps?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Cool. And then do you know how they would, like, what was the format of judging? Like,
I mean,
was it length of ride, or was it kind of critical turns, critical airs?
I think it was just critical turns. Being able to complete your waves, connect turns, just mixing it up.
And I'm sorry, was it one wave? You get judged on
One
the
wave.
one wave. Okay, cool. It's
One
not
wave.
like you
Yeah.
connect the wave to the one behind it. No.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for the prone, I think you can connect two, but for foil assist, it's just the one.
Oh, that
So,
makes it easy.
but yeah, but it didn't mean you had to come down. You could still ride the wave. You just had to go circle out and then reset to get into your next wave.
So how many how many maneuvers were you getting on the one wave? Was it kind of like a cutty, check turn, and then an air, or was it kind of longer than that? Or
yeah, no, it was like, I would say if I was able to get, and like I said, my heats were kind of small, so I didn't have too many of the sets. But yeah, the waves that I did, I would do like kind of like a couple carves on the outside, and then once it hit the reef, do like one or two turns, and then an air. And then I was trying to I was riding left because I'm goofy too, so I was trying to go out, and it was good because it was like right where the judges were, and that's where there's this full section. So I was definitely trying to do my best work in that zone, which is
nice.
really close to where the judges were and stuff. So yeah, I would either do one and then try to do another. I think one wave I did a good air, landed, came across, and then did a big one, and I landed, but I couldn't ride out. So,
hectic.
Yeah, a couple other ones, and then one I went straight into the reef. I was so bummed.
See you later.
I was just holding on to it because I was trying to ride out, and yeah, it was just not smart. I should have just bailed.
Oh, I love it.
I was putting it all on the line.
Yeah, so good. And I think the setup, like how you said the judges were there. There was a few tents. I know Foil Drive sent over a tent, and Kyle brought down a cooler with drinks. And
yeah,
was there kind of people demoing gear, or was it not really like that?
Not. I know Ryan offered up stuff, but I don't think anybody went out and demoed. I mean, because of the format, and everybody was it wasn't oh, you surfed it, then if you lost, you're done. So everybody was still competing all day.
That's
and then
cool.
Some people were in multiple divisions, so they were, they didn't have time to kind of go out and demo. And the other thing too is there wasn't really any waves that were breaking not in the competitive zone. So yeah, but it was cool because there's a travel battery there for people. I mean, we were inundated, with people coming and talking story, checking out our gear, our boards, foil drives. We had a bunch of pamphlets for the crowd suck with the etiquette thing. So
awesome.
That was cool. So yeah. I mean, we were definitely busy all day talking up foil drive and stuff. So it was a cool thing. And Kyle had cooler with some drinks and stuff. And then it was cool this year too, because usually Jason has this hallway, or it's this building, and that's where usually the contest is sort of held. But there was a huge family reunion there that weekend, so we couldn't do that. But I almost felt it was better where it was set up, because we were in the field. They allowed all the cars to come in and park on the grass, so it was a real kind of homey feel. And then I thought it was really good to have the judges on the wall next to the water, because before they were in the building, which is kind of set back, so you couldn't see it as well, but they were right front and center. So I thought that was really cool too. So it was sick.
It honestly looks like a legit comp. I'm kind of devastated. My timing was just a bit off because, I was with you in Maui a couple of weeks before that, and I had to come home to go to Perth for a few races, but it would have been so rad to be there for that. And I think how you said that you think that maybe Foil Drive had the biggest division out of all the divisions. I think even more guys would have went in it, but the logistics of getting your gear there was kind of bad timing, because the travel battery just came out after, I think, the comp. Or maybe you could pre-order just before, and now people are just getting their batteries now.
Yeah.
But I think next year might be a bit more enticing, where people can bring their travel batteries, and it's not as, because I seen a lot of guys I seen Kane and Jack, they were both doing prone and sup. So they want to do multiple, they want to compete. So it's cool. Yeah. I'm hoping next year, if we've got enough units, or people might share their units if they're not riding, to to go in the foil assist division too, because at the end of the day, it's fun being at these things, and you don't need to win. It's just fun
Yeah.
hanging out and foiling, really.
Yeah, well, even like after seeing like how you're saying, oh, with their girls, like I feel like next year, like the girls could have their own foil assist like thing, so then they're not with the guys.
Mm.
Like yeah, like I think there was enough to even have their own heat. It could have been like two men's and one girls. Um, so yeah, I think there's yeah, and I I mean, if we think about a year ago to now, and then another year. So it's like, who knows what it'll be in another
Oh,
year? Like
it's
it could be
insane.
like that. It's only a foil assist. The whole
Mm.
contest is foil assist.
You know,
So
I've been chatting a lot because like I'm about to run another downwind comp here in Sydney in January, and I'm really looking into like live streaming, because I think, it's obviously amazing that that do the recap videos, but they usually come out, like a week later or 2 weeks later. But it'd be so rad, especially like, Hawaii on a different time zone to Australia. Like I'd be sitting at home, on the couch at night and be able to watch like the comp
yeah,
go on. It would be so cool. Like, and
yeah,
like it's people doing it with the M2O, like running the Instagram lives and stuff. Like it wouldn't
yeah,
be that tricky, but like, I feel like it would be really cool to have a standard where all these competitions, they have some sort of coverage, because besides the attendance at these comps, which is great, like, each comp, more and more people every year, but, you get eyes from across the world watching it, and then you get more sponsorship, and then there's just more
totally.
money in it, and it's just going to keep rolling. And it's exciting because it's happening so quick. It's happening super fast, and who knows next year. But I think also,
Yeah,
like, talking about the women's thing, I think it's important for them to have their own division, because I can't really talk for a woman, but like I know it might be a bit daunting having to go up against guys. It would be cool to have, like, in the sup and the pro, did they have women's division, or were they all roped into, is it just like unisex,
um,
the whole thing?
I don't think there was a sup for women's, but there was definitely a women's prone. But they also let the women enter the age division ones too, which were mostly men,
Okay.
or boys and stuff. So, but yeah, like, so yeah, so a few of the girls, like they entered, the women's and the age division ones, which was really cool. And, and a lot of them were killing it. So, I mean, yeah, I think for sure they could definitely probably do a women's foil assist next year for sure. Cause there's already enough to have their own heat this year, which was super cool. And they were not intimidated by us in those heat. Like they were out there doing their thing, man. It was
Sick.
like, yeah, yeah. It was, yeah, because it wasn't like, oh, they're around all these guys, they're not catching waves. No, they're like out there, they're catching sets, like they're getting their due for sure.
Yeah, big. Do you think that's a really good way of like competition divisions, the age division? Do you think that's a really good way of being inclusive, or do you think that
Um,
it's better to just have opens and women's and men's?
yeah, I mean there always should be the option of doing like opens, and that should be like because like to me the open is kind of like the skill set of it, right? So it's like, that should be, the top guys, and that they just want to compete against whoever, whenever kind of thing. But I do think it's good to have age divisions as well, so yeah. And I don't know if they would call it like I guess in like boogie boarding times it was like open pro and things like that. And then you'd have like the age divisions and stuff. So I think there's room for it all. But yeah, it'd be sick.
Cool. So what else about the comp was, yeah, to wrap it up, was there anything else that kind of stood out? Who was the, like, regardless of what you were riding, who was ripping?
Ripping during the con.
Yeah.
Kane was obviously ripping. He's doing some crazy carving, like, with his cane style, like so relaxed, but just doing the craziest stuff. Jack was like I think Jack was like I think because he had some kind of weird thing with his heat where they kind of judged him wrong or they added his scores wrong. So he was kind of upset. So he went into his second heat and he was he looked like upset and he was going off like so
Yes.
freaking hard. Like he was going, like he was killing it too. So yeah, those two definitely stood out.
Oh, so they were
RZ was,
they were battling pretty much, Jack and
yeah. Oh
Kane.
yeah. I
Okay,
would
cool.
say, yeah, they definitely were like next level battling for that. And it was, yeah, super exciting and sick to see. Ryan was killing it. RZ, he was killing it on the sup, man. I was tripping out on some of the turns and stuff he was doing. So yeah, the sup was like crazy because in the past it's been more like, because I mean it's evolved, right? So it's like it wasn't like in the past it would be like everybody were on these kind of shorter, wide boards, and that's what the sup was. I mean, this year everybody, like I would say it was like half and half. Like still had some of those, and those guys were killing. Like Nick from Maui, freaking killing it so hard as usual. But then you had guys on like what looked like downwind boards, and just killing it, like doing the craziest turns and stuff. So it was kind of exciting to see how that sort of evolved from, and it's definitely related to downwinding because like nobody would be riding these types of
Mm.
subs, in the surf really because it just it didn't happen for so long. But now that they're bringing that into it, it's crazy to see, and there's definitely a place for it. Like it's
Okay.
definitely cool to see people lay down turns on a long, narrow subboard. You know, it was sick.
Epic. Um, yeah, tell us a little bit. So, yeah, tell us a little bit what you were doing 2 weeks before Kauai, um, over in Maui. I'm keen to hear.
Or in Maui, yeah. So we had, I did my second Paul Cooper experience, and that was on Maui. So it was really, cool. Like after the first one, in Hood River, and that was such a success and we had our guys over there that had such a great time and it was really you know fulfilling for me personally to kind of take guys out and see their progression happen so quickly, and how appreciative they are to kind of just like you know be involved and be a part and really do it. So to go to Maui and do that same thing was like insane, and it was definitely like a different type of experience because Hood River is just like so downwind specific, right? So going to Maui, we didn't know really what to expect, but it was sick, like super fun. We were probably there like at the windiest time ever. It was like the windiest, craziest like time. It was so windy every day.
Yeah, the
I,
locals were calling it like the best day of the year kind of thing, which is too extreme for the clients, what they wanted.
yeah,
Like, our clients weren't at that, you know, next level freaking downwind bombing,
yeah,
10-foot swell style stuff. But like, yeah, it was, I think we were very lucky where we had, a house in Paia, right on the water, beautiful accommodation.
yeah.
It was such a good kind of like home base where, we were able to all eat together and set up our gear together and, have ice baths and saunas and watch back the drone footage from the sessions. Um, yeah, tell us a little bit about like kind of what we were focusing on this experience.
Yeah, it was definitely more fundamental based. Because yeah, like a few of our clients never even foiled, so it was definitely, a different sort of start. But it was sick. It was super good to kind of like see such rapid progression, especially with somebody who doesn't have any kind of background. And then also with like our other client that had some background to see like him really take what we were kind of telling him and coaching him and really put it to work. And then the new tools that we got, the BB Talk, wireless communication was like such a huge game changer for us. You know, it just made coaching and having that one-on-one live connection so much easier, you know, and it was just such a good tool. And then, yeah, you with your brand new drone that was like able to handle like when we were stuck in those winds, which, you know, which like I wouldn't want to be flying in those winds. It was like insane. So yeah, it was such a sick week. Maui's beautiful. You know, all the guys there are super cool, and we had a lot of support from the locals and stuff like that. So it was an amazing week.
Yeah, I think it's really cool with the foil drive, being able to adapt to kind of any conditions. Because, you know, with planning Maui this time of year, we really thought we weren't going to get wind. We thought we were going to get glassy, kind of fun foil surfing stuff. And it was the opposite. We got like the craziest conditions of downwind ever. But, you know, we were able to find locations where we could practice flat water. We were still able to find some little waves. And like, it's just nice how your opportunity is like so widened, because like you're not limited by, I don't know, paddle power or whatever. It's just like you can just buzz around and have so much fun, and like there's always something to learn on, because I feel like a lot of foil drivers, you know, they might be coming from another foiling discipline where they kind of maybe jump a few steps and then maybe develop some bad skills that really sink in. It's hard to undo. And like, you know, they might not think that they're doing anything wrong, but it's really limiting them to getting to that next step. And I think when they see them, like, it's so cool when we do that like video recap at night after dinner, and they see themselves and they're like, oh my God, I didn't realize that I was doing that. And I'm like, I'm telling you, you got to move your feet. You have to move them. They're like, no, they're fine. They're fine. I'm like, no, you got to move them. And then like, it's so obvious when you got like a drone following you, like laterally next to you, and you can see exactly what your body mechanics are doing. So yeah, it's cool, because like, I think it's a perfect amount of time. Like, you know, we got 5 days, and within 5 days you see crazy progression, like going from, and even just confidence levels, because I think a lot of people, they don't get that many sessions in 5 days back to back. So it really drills into them. And then even just the constant back and forth talk. Like, I know Steve from Australia, he loved to chat. You like 6 a.m. in the morning, he's already asking about foil drive questions. And like, it was awesome, because like, you know, he's a sponge, and he was just taking in any information, and like those little nuggets when like, you know, we're driving to a surf spot and maybe me and you are just chatting about, I know, the way we're setting up our gear, and he's just listening in the background. Oh, I didn't think of that. Like, maybe I'll try that. Yeah. And I think it's, it's just rewarding. Like, it's really cool. Yeah. I really enjoy the whole teaching side. Like, I love seeing the progression. I love seeing the stoke, and it's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. Well, I feel like also, like you and I have, different approaches on how we kind of relate the information. I mean, we're both very, you know, we're both skilled foilers and stuff, but I feel like we have such kind of unique approaches to it. So it's like, if somebody's not really receiving what I'm giving, you know, you come at it at a different way and they're like, oh yeah, or vice versa, and things like that. So I think that it, like, I don't know, I feel like we have a really good kind of rapport in the way that we coach and teach these guys and girls. But yeah, it just kind of works really, really well. Because yeah, I definitely feel like there was a few times where I was like, oh yeah, he's not understanding what you're saying. And then like, oh, for some reason he's understanding what I'm saying, and vice versa too. So yeah, it's exciting. It's cool. And, you know, I look forward to doing, a bunch more this upcoming 2025. So
where's next?
I don't know, man. Let's go. Let's go.
We had a few ideas. We're just trying to figure out the logistics, but we're definitely got a few on the pipeline this year.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
They're just,
well, definitely back to Hood River again for sure. We could say that Hood River will be a staple. because we just love it over there.
And
So
Hawaii's always easy. There's
Hawaii,
like,
yeah,
it's very easy for the people coming from California or the other people in the different Hawaiian islands. But we
yeah,
really want to explore different areas that are kind of more exotic places that, if we take care of all the logistics of
yeah.
getting the gear there, like, someone can just like jump on that trip and just have to rock up and enjoy themselves for 5 days, really. So,
Yep.
yeah. What else did we kind of have in the list of things to chat about today?
Um,
I think it was etiquette the only other one that we kind of haven't
oh yeah, yeah.
touched on
Yeah, we
really?
sort of, yeah.
I'm just curious, like, I know you live on like a more quiet side of Oahu, but I'm just curious, like, we've tried to approach the foil drive etiquette thing, last month with like a new campaign and a bit of information. But I'm just curious, like with the boots on the ground in Hawaii, which is probably our busiest zone of foil drivers in a concentrated area, have you seen it being accepted, this new campaign, or do people just, maybe still doing some stuff that's disrespectful to others, or what have you seen?
No, I think like for the most part, yeah, I'm on a little bit quieter side, but you wouldn't have thought that yesterday. It was probably the most foil drivers I've seen on my side in a long time. It was cool, but yeah, it was definitely busier. But everybody was cool. It was like real mellow. I think for the most part, what kind of drew people to a foil drive, and me personally as well, it's like I want to get away from the crowds. I'm like, to me, it's everything that I love about surfing and foiling without the things that I hate about surfing and foiling, which is crowds and waiting for waves and things like that. So for the most part, I think everybody here has that similar mindset. I think just the few areas where we need to be careful, like in town, like Kaimana Beach and things like that, which I go to once in a while as well. So I kind of know, the sort of unwritten rules and things that we like to see because we just don't want to be kicked out of anywhere. We want to kind of be able to go wherever we want. And like, we just have to kind of tell people, like, you don't want to be around a crowd. Like, I don't want to be around a crowd. So like when I go to those places, we're really conscious and trying to watch out for the swimmers because it's everything over there. Swimmers, canoe paddlers, foilers, surfers, longboarders,
Get busy.
a lot of,
It's
yeah,
really
it's
busy.
totally, yeah, real
Yeah.
busy. A lot of ocean life over there that we got to be really aware of too. So, yeah, I would say like when you were, uh, when we were here filming Blue Highway, and then we went out foil drive, and I saw you like kind of pop up from the get, and you're like motoring. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa! Like, like, take it easy, man. Like,
Yeah.
let's put out to the windsock, and then we could start motoring out there. But you didn't know,
That
and
was
and
a
that's how.
perfect example,
Yeah,
an outsider, a tourist. And like, I know I can flat water start the foil that I want to ride out. What is it called? Old Man's out there, or what? Where were we?
yeah,
Yeah, Old
yeah. Old
Man's.
man's. Yeah,
Um, I know I can flat water start. So I was like, I'm just going to get out there first. So I literally just, as soon as we hopped in the water, boom, straight out and just like motored out. And then like everyone came out like 5 minutes later, and I was like, oh, what do you guys go somewhere else? And they're just like, oh no, dude, like no one really starts foil driving there. Like everyone just like cruises out there. And I'm like, oh
yeah,
shit, I didn't know that. But like I probably should have asked them, or I shouldn't have just been so excited. I should have just like maybe had a step back, seen what the locals did, and then
yeah,
follow suit. But like,
yeah.
everyone makes
Totally.
mistakes. Like
Yeah,
it's just educating yourself on what the locals do, because at the end of the day, you're an outsider, and like, if the locals are doing it that way, you
yeah.
follow what they're doing. So
Yeah, and I'll say, like, I've been hit up like multiple times in the past few months of people who are visiting here, asking me, oh, where's the spot to go to. I don't want to, ruffle any feathers or things like that. So I think, the foil drive community is definitely aware and are, receiving, all the information that we're trying to put out there and stuff. So it's definitely, and it's cool. Like foil drive as a brand doesn't need to do any of this really, because, it's all solely responsible on the person and the individual, but for them to kind of take this approach to get the word out there that, hey, we all love this so much. Let's try not and, get it kicked out or anything like that. So, because I mean, we all love this thing so much.
I remember when I first started going to Oahu for foiling, I really didn't know. I still to this day don't really know. There's so many reefs out the back of that like Waikiki area. Like there's waves everywhere. And the thing
Everywhere.
with the foil drive now, like back before I used to foil, you have to paddle out there on like a longboard and it takes forever. And then you finally get to the wave and it's always small there. Like it's never really that big. But now, like, we virtually have a speedboat and like, we can get to one wave if there's someone there, literally foil drive like 2 minutes to the next reef, not even 2 minutes, like 1 minute. And then there's no one there and like, oh, let's just hit that area. And I know for a fact, like the Tongs, like the most known prone foil area, if you keep going up the point there is so many waves up there and like no one's on it. Like no one's on it. But the thing is everyone just stays at Tongs because that's where the staircase is, easy access, it's right there. But like leave that to the people that don't have a foil assist because it's already so busy there. I don't know why you'd want to foil where there's so many people. Like even when I prone foil there, it's like it's hectic because where you want to turn is where like 5 people are trying to take off, and it's just like if I had the luxury of going somewhere where there's no one else, I would definitely take that. And I think it's also just like putting yourselves in someone else's shoes. Like if you're a longboarder and like you don't have the privilege of being able to motor around and just go to another wave, like leave that spot to that person that's just like, paddled out there and they've taken forever to paddle out there. Like, just a respect thing, right? And I think that's a
totally.
big thing in Hawaiian culture, right? It's all about the aloha, the respect. Yeah. What else? Is that kind of it? What's next for what's happening for you for Christmas? Are you going anywhere or doing anything?
No, nothing planned. For the rest of this year, just kind of working, flying, and just loving my new gear. So try and get some content with that. But nothing planned as of yet. And then I think I am trying to get to your thing in January for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
That'll
still
be sick.
like it's all pretty much all systems go. We're just waiting for the council approval. Lisa applied at the council over 2 months ago and we still haven't heard back yet. So I don't really want to advertise that we've got a comp until we've got the approval. If we don't get the approval, I think I'm still going to do it anyway, like kind of what we did last year, like just do it and just say it's a social fun run. But I really want to promote it properly this year because we've got insurance now. And if we've got council approval to have like all our tents and things set up on the beach and make a proper event of it, like I would love to try get all you guys from overseas coming over and, raise some really good prize money and make it inviting where, people want to come from all over.
Sick.
Yeah. So keep your eyes peeled on that because I think it's going to be, I'm just hoping for this council approval any day now because I want to make this the biggest, one of the biggest comps that's going to happen.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah. Sick. All right, dude. Well, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Super stoked on your win. I hope there's another foil drive or foil assist comp. Coming up soon.
Get them going.
I know the race in January is going to definitely be foil assist in it. So yeah, I'm just excited to see what happens next.
Nice.
Cool, dude.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Have a
You.
good day. We'll talk to you soon.